It was a Tuesday night. Nothing special, just leftover pasta, a glass of wine, and a man sitting across from me who would have given me the world if I had just asked. But I didn't ask. I accused. And I can still hear the way the wine glass clinked when I put it down too hard. I remember how he paused mid-bite. How his eyes met mine, like he was trying to figure out whether I really meant what I said. And I did. At least, I thought I did. If you were enough, I said, I wouldn't feel this lonely. He didn't argue. He didn't yell. He just swallowed hard, wiped his mouth with a napkin, and quietly left the table. That was the last dinner we ever had together. We'd been married 6 years. The kind of marriage people called stable, but that's just a polite way of saying boring. There were no major fights, no infidelity, no screaming matches in the middle of the night. Just two people slowly becoming strangers under the same roof. I think that's what scared me most. Not the drama, not the betrayal, but the silence. The long stretches of nothing. We used to talk about everything. Now our conversations were reduced to grocery lists, utility bills, and questions like, did you feed the dog? And somewhere deep down, I started craving something more. I wanted to feel seen, desired, adored, even. But I never said that. Instead, I picked him apart. He never planned surprise dates. He fell asleep with the television on. He left his socks on the floor. Small things, petty things. But they built up like dust in corners we never cleaned. I started confiding in a coworker. Not emotionally cheating, I told myself. Just venting. But the truth? I liked the way he listened. The way he asked questions about my dreams. The way he complimented my hair when my husband didn't even notice I'd cut it. It felt good to be noticed. To be admired. It made me resent the man I had at home. So when I made that cruel comment at dinner, if you were enough, I wouldn't feel this lonely. I think I was really just testing him. I wanted a reaction. A fight. A grand gesture. Something that said, don't you dare leave. You still matter. But he didn't do any of that. He packed a bag that night. For the first few days, I was still angry. I told my friends he was weak, that he couldn't handle the truth. But the house got quieter, colder. I slept on one side of the bed, staring at the dent where he used to lie. The dog waited by the door at 6 p.m., not understanding why he didn't come home anymore. And suddenly, the silence wasn't peaceful, it was suffocating. I tried to call him. He didn't pick up. I emailed. He replied, please respect my space. And I did. For weeks. Until I saw him. It was at the park. He was walking, holding coffee in one hand, a book in the other. He looked lighter, happier. He didn't see me, but I saw everything, the way his eyes crinkled at the edges when he smiled. The way he paused under a tree to take in the sunlight. That smile used to be mine. That peace used to be ours. It's been 8 months. He has someone new now. I don't know her name. I don't want to. But I do know she gets a version of him I never made space for. A version I buried under my expectations and disappointment. I look back now and realize he wasn't the problem. My loneliness wasn't his fault. It was mine. I shut him out emotionally. I built walls and expected him to climb them. And when he didn't, I called it proof that he didn't love me enough. But he did. He just didn't know how to fight someone who didn't want to be fought for. Last week, I found an old note he wrote me years ago. It said, I know I'm not always good with words, but loving you is the easiest thing I've ever done. I cried harder than I have in months. Not because I missed the relationship, but because I finally saw it for what it was. A good man. A quiet kind of love. And a woman too blind to see it. So if you've made it this far, let me say this. Don't confuse comfort with absence. Don't mistake a quiet partner for a careless one. And please don't weaponize your loneliness. Sometimes the person who sits quietly next to you on the couch every night is the same person who would cross oceans just to bring you peace. But no one fights forever. They get tired. They leave. And if you're not careful, you'll be left holding memories instead of hands. If this story resonated with you, hit subscribe. We share real stories like this, honest, raw, and maybe just the wake-up call someone needs. Because sometimes the lesson hits hardest after the goodbye.